Governor Inslee has signed a new gun law which will fine gun owners if they do not report their firearms stolen within 24 hours. Let's talk about it in our segment, Unbelievable. Boop. All right, not too many comments about my F-bomb. I was just looking
money for it.
Oh my gosh. You guys always give me money when I swear, which you understand is not like a good
encouraging.
That's positive reinforcement for something that's negative. Okay, so we know that every legislative session, Democrats have to push through regulations on law-abiding gun owners. And sometimes it's the big ticket items. I mean, we talked about one of the ones that came out of this session that I think we won't even fully understand the repercussions of for a year or two, and that is the one that over-regulates gun shops to the point where it's going to be so expensive for them to do business. They're just going to have to go out of business. And that's what Democrats want, right? They don't want you to be able to buy a gun. So anyway, there's this other one. And when I first saw it, I'm kind of like, okay, I guess, it's not the worst thing in the world. But then the more I thought about it, the angrier about it I got. Because then I was like, wait a second, that makes no sense. I don't know how you enforce that. And beyond that, it's not going to do anything to reduce the number of shootings or the number of fatalities happening in the state of Washington. And I was like, you know what? Now I'm full-blown mad about it because it's just another virtue signaling bill where they can say, oh, we're cracking down on guns and then doing absolutely nothing to actually crack down on criminals who are using guns to commit crimes. So here's the new law, HB 1903. This is part of that law. You as a gun owner will have to report a theft of your firearm within 24 hours, or you could face a $1,000 fine. So it's within 24 hours of when you discover the theft or loss. So either you lost it or someone stole it. And if you don't do that, you could face up to a $1,000 civil infraction. The bill also requires law enforcement agencies to register stolen firearm reports with the FBI's National Crime Information Center, which is used by police to pursue suspects and locate stolen items. That second part I'm fine with. Yeah, like let's share information about stolen guns. And so then when it pops up somewhere, we kind of know, where it went and all that stuff. But let's talk about the practical problems with this, right? You could not know your gun was stolen for like years. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, let's say it's someone who who got into your gun safe or something. I mean, gun people, they have a lot of firearms. And I'm not saying that if like a stranger came in and broke into your gun safe that they wouldn't notice that. But let's say you had someone who you knew who stole a gun from you. You might not know that for years. And I don't think that makes you a particularly irresponsible gun owner. I just don't think you have gun owners going into their safe every night and counting. Did I have all my firearms here today? Does that make sense? So I just don't understand. So you might have it like the urgency there. I get it. If you're like, I know my gun was in my center console or something. I know it was and someone stole it. Yeah, I think you should pick up the phone and tell law enforcement right away. I do agree with that. I think most law-abiding gun owners would like, hey, someone stole my gun. So I just don't see that as a problem. I mean, times when it's delayed, I think is for other reasons. Like you're not sure. Like, gosh, I swear, my God, this gun was here and did I lose it or did someone steal it? And so you might want to take, a couple days to find it. So I don't think that there's like a malintent that people have not to report their firearm stolen as soon as they realize that it's stolen. So I just don't think, and for people who don't, you know what they're going to say? Oh yeah, I just noticed it was stolen yesterday.
Exactly. How did they prove it?
Right. How would they wouldn't be able to prove it. So you'd be like, yeah, I looked for it and stuff, and I don't know, I thought it was missing like a couple weeks ago, and now I'm pretty sure I can't find it. So now I'm going to call, and they're going to be like, when did you lose it? Like 24 yesterday. Did you notice it was gone yesterday? They're just going to lie about it, right? So it's just practically speaking, it's one of those feel-good things that's just really not going to do a whole lot. And that's kind of the issue here is there are so many gun-related efforts that could be undertaken by the government and law enforcement that actually will make sure that fewer guns get into the hands of the wrong people. I mean, gosh, we were talking yesterday about this these two 16-year-olds who were found shot to death their bodies dumped along the interstate in Seattle, and all the media was showing these pictures of them as children, literal children. And then on social media, there are pictures of them. One of them had 4 guns, like 2 tucked into his waistband, 2 in his hand. The other one had, and they were illegal because they had magazines that were past 10 rounds.
Well, and they are under the age of 18.
And they're under the age of 18, so they weren't able to have them anyway. But these videos were all over social media. Like they're so ballsy with it. Mm-hmm. Like you're 16-year-olds and they've got 4 guns and illegal guns, and they're so confident that they're not going to get in trouble for it. They post about it on social media. They take pictures and videos of them handling these firearms. Like if those aren't the kind of people who, if they lost their gun, they're going to call up the police and be like, hey, yeah, my gun I wasn't legally allowed to have and that was stolen. I lost it. Like, I just don't, that's what it's so ridiculous. And we should be dumping a lot of money into law enforcement agencies to have them go out there proactively and work on getting illegal guns that are in people's hands illegally away from them, gang members, confiscating firearms, doing investigations that are going to lead to, drug investigations. Every time there's a big drug investigation and a big drug bust, what do they always find with it? Money and guns. Money and guns. So hell yeah, let's give law enforcement the money they need, the tools they need, the bodies they need, the time they need to do these investigations that are going to get illegal guns off the street. And then on the back end, you have to throw the freaking book at people when they use guns in the commission of a crime. That's where the system's falling short. All this stuff, I don't even want to hear about it until the state mandates firearm enhancements. So firearm enhancements should not be something that a prosecutor can wish away, or that a defense attorney can strike a deal for their client and go away. Firearm enhancements should be mandatory. So when you're convicted of a firearm enhancement, that's flat time. So you're not going to get any good time for behavior on that. That's how the law is supposed to work. And I actually think that could serve as a deterrent if it's actually instituted. But then it's a pretty good punishment. We're a state. You say you care about gun crimes. You say you want to reduce them. This person used a gun to commit a crime. Maybe they shot someone. Maybe they killed someone. Maybe they used a gun to hold up a convenience store. Well, guess what? Now you're also getting a felony firearm enhancement. You're going to get 5 years, and you can't have a single day taken off that sentence. And you're going to serve it consecutively. So you're going to get out, you're going to do your time on this, but you still have that tacked on to the end of it. So the fact, until we're doing that, and that's a mandatory thing that you cannot wish away no matter what, all this stuff is stupid. All this stuff is for headlines and to make Inslee feel good and to make Bob Ferguson feel good and say, we did this and this, and gun control is going to be a huge thing that Bob Ferguson talks about on the campaign trail, and how he was the one who pushed to get rid of, these so-called weapons of war, and won't ever acknowledge that he has done nothing through these bills. As crime stats bear out, he's done nothing to reduce the number of shootings and to reduce the number of illegal guns on the streets, to reduce the number of gang members who are killing each other. You've done nothing except make yourself feel good and give yourself a few notches to get the progressive vote when you run for governor. And you should actually be ashamed of yourself for pretending like you care about reducing shootings and pretending like you care about crime and wasting so much of your time and your political capital doing things to get elected governor that haven't made a bit of a difference.